So for me, like really staying grounded to who I am, quite honestly, not paying attention to noise or anyone else around there, keeping my head down. And those have been the foundations of really like how I stay focused.
Ever feel like you're in a constant competition between your career and your husband's patience? Your kids think you work too hard, but hey, you're doing it all for them, right? The struggle is real, and I've been there too. Moments of feeling like a crappy mom and wife because once again, your kids had breakfast on their way to school, and you've got more important things on your plate than cooking and cleaning. Hey there, working moms who are juggling a million things and still wondering if you're doing it right. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a mama of 3, and married for 24 years. Welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic Podcast, where we dive deep into the messy, chaotic, and sometimes hilarious world of mastering motherhood, marriage, and business. I get it. Balancing it all was never the goal, but here we are, trying anyway. I'm here to share my journey and guide you through yours. No more apologies for being driven, and definitely no compromises on your dreams. Together, we'll navigate the challenges of being a powerhouse in both business and family life. Join me as we tackle the uncomfortable conversations from being the breadwinner to changing the rules of what a marriage looks like. Let's figure out how to parent in a working parent household without the constant arguments or guilt. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and this is Empowered and Unapologetic, where we embrace the chaos, challenge the norms, and strive to live life on our own terms. Get ready for some real talk, actionable tips, and a few laughs along the way. Hey, ladies, and welcome back to the Empowered and Unapologetic Podcast. Today's guest is Maddy Fero, founder of Little Rad Things, a kids' clothing brand known for its ethically sourced, vintage-inspired designs. Maddy began her journey during the pandemic in 2020 when she taught herself to sew as a creative outlet. And since then, her brand has grown to reach over 30,000 parents who are passionate as she is about quality, sustainability, and creating rad moments for their children. I wish this was invented when I had the little babies. Her unique style fuses 1970s fashion with motorsports influenced by her roots and years as a NASCAR spokesmodel. As her business expands with a fully American-made line by 2025, Maddy shares how she balances her roles as an entrepreneur, mother, and wife while staying true to herself and her vision for Little Rad Things. So please help me by welcoming Maddy. Hey, Maddy.
Hey, wow. Okay, that was the most amazing intro ever. You made me sound so cool. So
Girl,
I'm
you're
definitely
totally legit. You're totally legit. I'm totally fangirling here.
I love it. I'm going to have to share that and keep it forever for my kids to listen to, when they hit those teenage years and they're like, Mom's not that cool.
Oh, I know those too well. Oh, too well. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. How did Little Rad Things come to life, and what inspired you to take that leap during such a challenging time in 2020?
Yeah, for sure. You could say I fell into it in some regard, but in 2020, when we went into COVID lockdown, I was working as a franchise business coach for a fitness franchise that was founded here in Charlotte. And I was working with franchise partners all across the country that suddenly had to close their gyms and were having members like just cancel their credit cards and back out of these gym memberships. So extremely stressful time for them. And for me, I was kind of functioning like a therapist at the time, taking calls all hours of the day. And I had a sewing machine in a closet that I had gotten for Christmas a couple years before. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to teach myself how to do this. Like, my son's cute. He's little. I don't see things in the stores I like. let's look for some fabric and sew some stuff.
Yeah.
And I started posting my creations on Instagram, and out of the blue, I was getting messages from people in college I hadn't talked to in a decade that were like, can you make something for my niece and nephew? Can you make something for me?
Yeah.
And that's really where it started, quite honestly.
I love that. My daughter's totally into sewing, and I have tried, Lord knows I have tried, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is not my forte. So to know that you are able to like do this creative spin, especially with, you know, being new to sewing, that's pretty badass. So teaching yourself to sew and launching a brand from scratch sounds daunting. What emotions or challenges did you face early on, and how did you work through them?
All the emotions and
Yeah.
challenges, and I still do today. In fact, before getting on this call, I told my husband, because he's home off work today, I was like, oh, I've got to get pumped up and in the right like mental
Mindset.
state for this today.
Yeah.
We had some new product come, and like we always go through this quality control process, and so that's a whole other ordeal. But I've gone through so many emotions launching my brand. You know, in 2021, when I really set out and got an LLC officially and knew
Yeah.
I was going to do the thing, I was pregnant with our second son. And quite honestly, right after having him, my intent was to start Little Rad Things, keep working full time, and balance both.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like 2 weeks into a new job, and I just quit out the gate. I was like, I can't do this mentally. I can't
Yeah.
do it.
No way.
Yeah. And my husband was like, go for it. We'll just figure it out. And,
Yeah.
you know, over time, I did go back to work for a while. But I will say to anyone that wants to start a business and, you know, is balancing parenthood as well, like it's tough, and you just need to give yourself a lot of grace,
Yeah.
because there are just days where it's really hard, really hard.
Well, I know as an entrepreneur, most of the time, for me at least, you're doing shit scared. Like literally, you're doing it scared. You know, there obviously is a great amount of confidence and trust we have in ourselves, you know, to get this done. However, there are so many insecurities that literally like just pop up, and they are exposed over and over again. So I love that you said, you know, it is 1,000% challenging, and I believe that's why that passion for what we're doing, it has to be so strong. It has to be so
Yeah.
strong, because for us to continue to do this, um, again, it takes a lot of heart. How did this impact your relationship? You know, was there a struggle between you and your husband? I know there was for me. I 1,000% there was for me. What was it like for you and your marriage?
Yeah, I mean, I will say over and over again, I'm extremely blessed. Like, I 1000% believe that I have my soulmate, and he brings out the best person in me, quite honestly.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We definitely have our moments where I am like, you are so annoying. Get the F
Hmm.
out of here. Um,
Hmm.
but he truly empowers me and is a lot of what I think helps me have the confidence to keep going. You know, he has a no quit mentality, and he's like, you're going to do this. Like, just
Yeah.
keep your foot on the gas, keep your head down, keep going. And so that's been really fortunate. I'm extremely blessed, and I realize that and know that.
Yeah.
But our relationship has always been, you know, rock solid. I'll knock on my wall. Um, so yeah, fortunately, like within the business, it hasn't been something that's changed our marriage, really. I mean, there are moments for sure where he's like, okay, can you put your phone down? Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't totally get that it never turns off.
Yeah.
Um, but super supportive. So I'm very, very fortunate with that.
Yeah. I can relate with that. There were times when my husband, you know, had said to me, I don't want to compete with your career. I don't want to compete with your business. And that was really, really hard to hear. There was some offense, you know, if I'm just being honest, there was some offense to that, because it's like, listen, like this is hard. And to try to explain to someone that is not an entrepreneur how hard it is, I don't want to say it's impossible, but I don't think it translates. I don't think it translates. Um, And there's this other side of, you know, developing this understanding as to why he's even saying this. Why is he telling me to put my phone down? Why is he telling me to, you know, why is he sharing this with me? And it is because, what I learned later on was it was because he was seeing how some of it was impacting me. And we recorded a podcast episode on it. He's like, it was almost as if I had to protect you from yourself. And so did you have any moments like that?
Yeah, I've definitely had moments like that. In fact, one of the now somewhat funny experiences in my business, but also not funny at the same time. It's always one of those key marker moments now, looking back when I talk to anyone, it's going to be a story that I know I get to share in front of a room full of entrepreneurs someday. But we starting out did a lot of financing on our inventory because in apparel, right, you're so heavy in
Yeah.
inventory
Yeah.
all the time, like especially as you're scaling and growing. And so we were doing financing on one of the business credit cards. I say we, it was me. And it was a no limit card until they decided there was a
It was
limit,
a
and
limit.
they decided there was a limit while we were on vacation. And I mean, you would have thought that my world was ending, that they were going to come like lock me up. I just
Yeah.
am very risk adverse, whereas my husband is the risk taker. And he definitely saved me from myself on that vacation because he gave me about 30 minutes to cry it out. And then he was like, we're fine. This is
Yeah.
fine. Pick yourself up, strategize what we're going to change, and like just take a breath, like the product is coming, so like it'll be fine. But yeah, he definitely has saved me in moments of insecurity and just total panic. So
No, totally get it. After becoming a mom, did you find that your goals or sense of self shifted? And if so, how did you navigate those changes and what did that look like for you personally and professionally?
oh, that is such a wonderful question. I would say yes, that they did shift to where I wasn't the center of my own universe, right? Like that ego
No, God.
You know, I mean, literally everything I do every single day is for my children. And yes, I have a business and I put a lot of energy there, but the business is all for them. And
Yeah.
what's cool is the older my kids get now, because my firstborn, who kind of started this whole thing,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
5. And
Yeah.
it's so cool, like, he sees it and he understands it because he's been watching it for 3 years, and he's like, "Oh, wow, mom, that's a lot of boxes coming today," like,
Mhm.
he's very excited by it. So, for me, I would say my goals definitely changed because I'm doing things that I never thought I would do before kids. I prioritize things that I would never prioritize before having children, and I think my intentionality is so much greater now. Like, I don't hang out with who I do not absolutely want to
Amen.
hang with. So,
Amen. Yeah, I
if
don't
you're
have
one of my friends, yeah, and I actually give you the time, know that I really want the time with you,
that.
or I
Mhm.
wouldn't do it.
One thing that was crazy, and I even hate saying this out loud, um, but like text messages, phone calls, um, you know, friend lunches, like I don't want to say it all stopped because it didn't. It's just who I was replying to, who I was actually going to lunches with. And then this is going to sound like I have a stick up my ass and I don't want it to sound like this, but I don't know any other way to say it. But it was like I started to, there was a long time I fought with, I'm just going to try to make this work. I'm just going to try to make this work. And I would try to reply or try to go to lunch and then I'd have to cancel, or I would try to force things. And then after a
Mhm.
while, I started to realize, well, I have to have my assistant book certain things. And this is where it's going to sound like I have a big head. And I really don't. It's just coming to this realization that my time, when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. When I'm with my husband, I'm with my husband. Don't get me wrong. Yes, there are times that I'm doing business. I will admit that. But I'm not returning calls. I'm not scheduling lunches. My assistant is. And I had to shift that, where certain lunches and meetings and anybody who had access to me was scheduled because my time was so limited. Did you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've gone through a lot of that. And, I think a big thing that I prioritize is when I am with my kids, wanting to be fully present and
Yes.
putting my phone in another room so I
Yep.
can't reach for it,
Yep.
turning or taking my watch off. I have a smartwatch, like taking that off so I'm not getting buzzes or thinking about anything but
Yeah.
being with my kids and my family. That's been huge. And another interesting one for me is this year, looking at the end of last year, I started to realize like when we were being with our kids or when I was with my kids, I would honestly kind of cope a little bit with alcohol
Mhm.
to calm my nerves and stress about everything that I was doing. And so like even for me this year, like I went into this year and I was like, I'm not going to drink anymore.
Good for
And
you.
sure enough, like I
Yeah.
haven't, and it's been the best year of my life. Like, I'm so much more present and focused and happy than I
Yeah.
was last year, so
Well, yeah, good for you. That's something to
thank you.
celebrate. That's something really big. Again, unless you're an entrepreneur, like, there are high demands. There are high demands. And I know there were certain relationships that I don't want to say I had to end, but there wasn't that level of investment as there was in the past. And recognizing when I was spreading myself too thin. And so I love that you were able to identify, okay, wait a minute, this can essentially turn into an even bigger problem if I don't address this now. And I'm glad you were able to do that. So again, kudos to you. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know looking for the right therapist can be challenging. However, feeling overwhelmed and disconnected is even harder. Life is filled with several twists and turns, some more severe than others. We do our best to handle them as they come and find ourselves at a loss, not knowing what to do or who to turn to. The clinicians here at Outside the Norm Counseling are here to help. We are here to assist you through this time of need. Together, we will identify your strengths and goals and teach you healthy coping skills. Together, we will develop a plan to help you live the life you want to live. Our team is compassionate, genuine, and we take a great deal of pride in providing an empathetic, non-judgmental approach to all of our clients. It's time! You've waited long enough, whether it be for you, your child, or if you're in need of a couple session. We are highly trained clinicians ready to guide you. Schedule an appointment now by calling 951-395-3288. Again, that number is 951-395-3288. We're looking forward to meeting you and being a part of your journey.
Many women in our audience struggle with finding themselves postpartum. Can you share what helped you rediscover your identity and feel okay with setting new personal and professional goals?
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I mean, after my second Jackson, I was going to go back to work full time and try to balance Little Rad Things, and I just felt lost, like I
Yeah.
didn't know who I was, what I was supposed to focus on, and it was really hard for me. I think for me, like being able to take a step back and realize again, like, okay, something's not right with how I'm feeling. And
Mm.
then starting to prioritize things I know that make me feel better, like going on daily walks, like, or going to the gym, regaining control of my health and fitness, my mental clarity of like reading and just really prioritizing me time honestly helped me find myself a lot again.
Mhm.
I don't think as women we give ourselves enough credit of how much we balance every single
You're
day.
right.
So like
Yeah.
really like with your partner, like making that an expectation of how do I get me time to just be me and think about myself for a second because as a mom you really don't get a lot of that and then when you do you typically feel bad. Most of us feel bad. So for me like it was definitely getting back to things that made me happy before I had kids of, going to the gym by myself or
Mhm.
taking a bath. Like as simple as taking a bath for
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah. No, a thousand percent. I think one other area that we neglect is being able to celebrate our wins. I know a lot of women struggle with celebrating their wins because they view them as so small. And we're, a lot of high achieving women, we're so focused on like, okay, once we get here, then I'll celebrate. And then we get there and it's like, okay, that was cute. I don't even know why I thought that was like a big deal. But once I get here, that's when I'm gonna celebrate. And, with us making sure that we're spending time intentionally with our families, oftentimes those celebrations don't happen.
Yep.
Don't happen. Right?
Yep, and I can totally sentiment with that. I am the same way. I mean, I'm accomplishing things in my business right now that I dreamed of when I
Yeah.
started it, and I definitely don't sit back and I'm like, "Yay, go me." Like, I just don't have those moments, and I mean, it's something that I try to be cognizant of and enjoy, but it's hard, as you
It's
said.
hard. There was one time when I realized I hadn't celebrated, opening up the group practice and as big as it was getting. I remember being in a rush and finally going, finally peeing after like holding it for 3 hours. And I remember walking past my waiting room and my waiting room was filled. People were standing. And I remember looking at everybody, and racing to the restroom. And I remember, I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was because of the movie Pursuit of Happiness, where at the end, Will Smith is like totally clapping. But I remember like, walking out and getting into the hallway to where the restroom's at. And I remember just clapping and like taking a big deep breath. And it's like, people are being served. Like, people are being helped. They're being served. Like, it makes me want to cry a little bit right now. Like, change is happening. People's lives are being changed right now because of your idea, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I need to celebrate this. And the next morning I came in a little earlier and I just sat in my waiting room and it was empty. I don't even think I remember to turn the lights on. And I remember I was just crying and it was happy tears of like, holy moly, like you did it. You did it.
You should be so proud of that. I mean, it really is such an accomplishment to have a vision, pursue it,
Yeah.
and then see how it impacts others. There are so many people that don't pursue what they want to pursue. So, I mean, I think that's incredible. Congratulations.
Maddy, I'm saying this because I want you to do this too.
I know, I know.
I'm, I'm serious. You got to schedule it, and then I want you to take a picture of it and send it to me so I can celebrate with you.
Yeah, I mean, it is so interesting and cool to see like the community that I'm building within just
Yeah.
inside of an apparel business. I mean, there are people that truly align with my values and my vision and like my belief as a mother, and it's so neat. I've seen moms like go from having one baby to two babies to one specifically that has been with me for a while now has five, and like
Holy moly! And you've closed all of them.
yeah, it's so cool to build those relationships and learn about their families and their lifestyles, and like the fact that they honor me by like letting me dress their kids is incredible. I'm like, you want to put something I designed on your child? It makes me emotional. So.
Yes, that right there. That celebration is so important. So important. And I mean, look at five kids. 5 kids are in your clothes, your brand.
Yeah.
Like that is amazing. That is amazing. So building a brand in the competitive kids apparel market is no small feat. How do you stay focused on what makes Little Rad Things unique? And what role does your community play in that? And so we shared a little bit about that, but tell me more.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is I stay true to who I am,
Yeah.
and that has been the foundation of our business since day one. One thing that's really interesting about apparel is I think a lot of people get into it for the wrong reasons, like it's a low barrier of entry in the beginning, avenue to get into. It's relatively safe, like it feels safe and easy. And so people hop in and just follow trends of what will sell, what companies are doing well, what can I take from them? And you see that across even major retailers, right? A lot of
Yeah.
styles, unfortunately, that major retailers bring in typically are ripped off of small businesses in this space.
Yeah.
So for me, like really staying grounded to who I am, quite honestly, not paying attention to noise or
Good.
anyone else around there, keeping my
Good.
head down. And those have been the foundations of really like how I stay focused. Now, there are always challenges that come with that for
Yeah.
sure. Like I've had businesses in my space bully me and do some weird stuff, but I just still try to stay true to my values, and it's served me very well so far. So,
It helps you build that reputation because
mhm.
people get to know you, and as they're getting to know you, there's not a change and a change and a change, and you're not like compromising yourself or molding yourself in what you think other people need or want you to be. Instead, you're being your true, authentic self. So that level of consistency is needed in order for people to build relationships with you and to trust you. So I love that you've constantly stayed true to who you are. So sustainability and ethical sourcing are key pillars of your brand. What drives you to uphold these values, and what challenges do you encounter as you scale up?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is just how important it is not only for our kids to wear things that are safe for them, but
Yeah.
also understanding the environmental impact that, fast manufacturing, fast fashion has on our world. So that was really the foundation of why we wanted to be ethically made and sourced sustainably. And for us too, like we are very proud Americans, my husband and I. Like we are thankful for our country, the freedoms that we have, the opportunities that we have. I've
Yep.
always been really passionate about being able to make more jobs here and bless
Yeah.
other parents with the flexibility that I have now that I'm my own boss, and give them a cool work environment. I think as parents, one of the things that is sad about our country is that most people go to these full-time jobs where they have to commute, they can't take their kids to school, they can't pick them up. So for us, like it's a huge marker of ours to be able to hire people that can, have that flexibility in their life to serve their
Yes.
kids properly.
Yep.
So that was the foundation of why we wanted to, be ethically made and sustainably sourced. And then from there, the challenge with doing that is just
Mhm.
cost and
Yes.
time. It's definitely been a hard part of our business, right? Because we have to be priced quite a bit higher in the market space.
Yep.
And there are a lot of, people who unfortunately don't understand that, despite as well as we try to explain it. I recently had a TikTok that took off, and I was like, oh, I found the dark side of TikTok because it was like all the comments were, your prices are too high. I don't get it. I could go to Shein and get that, or I could go to Target and get
Yeah,
that.
you
You
can.
know, it's you can, but then it doesn't have the same moral background and ability to stay in this country and help people here, but um that's been the hardest part is just making sure the consumer understands why the prices are what they are and how we grow from there. So
Yeah. Yeah. I can totally relate to that battle. In my practice, we don't take insurance. We're private pay. And a lot of people do get upset because it's like, why don't you take insurance? Well, because I don't want an insurance company to dictate my care. I don't want
yep.
anybody to tell me how many sessions I can have with you when you obviously need more than 7 sessions. But the insurance company will only allow you 7 sessions unless I give you another diagnosis. Why would I give you another diagnosis just to get paid? Like that's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. So no, I will not be contracted. I will not be told how to do what I love to do and do it with purpose and with pride. So I love it. Yeah. And I've noticed that the people that, because we have a high referral rate, as I'm sure you guys do, the
Yeah.
people that do come in, it's totally different. You have people that are invested, that are ready, that there's a higher level of appreciation. You finding
Yeah.
that as well?
Oh, yeah, and brand loyalty. I mean, what's
Yes.
cool is my community, I don't like the word customers, so I always am saying, like, community or
Yep.
audience.
Yeah.
They are so loyal. I mean, there are things that have happened in the manufacturing process. Just for example, before we started to make the transition to United States manufacturing, we had some issues with our overseas supplier. And one of which was like a long sleeve shirt came in, the sleeves were more like 3/4 length. They didn't,
Oh,
make them to the proper scale.
yeah.
And my audience, I was upfront with them about it. I did
Fine.
heavily discount them. They sold me out of those shirts super fast.
I love
Like
that.
they're like, "We love you. We're going to support you through this," and
Yep.
gone. So
Done.
I think it says a lot, when you stick to who you are and true to
Yep.
what you believe. Like there are people that attach to that and understand it. And it's like anything. Not everyone's gonna love you, but you do the best that you can and just keep
Absolutely.
going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Many working moms wrestle with goals and family life. And what boundaries or systems help you keep things in check?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me is time blocking. I live and breathe by a schedule. In the
Me too.
mornings, I wake up about an hour before my children. Now, my youngest, it depends on the day. Some days he's up pretty quick, but I usually try to knock out some work first thing in the morning for an hour while I
Yep.
drink coffee. Then it's kid time for the next hour and a half while we get ready for school and go to school. I have my normal day where I get to work, like right now. And then evenings, like after school pickup, it is
Yep.
solid kid time until they go to bed. And then same thing, like I stay up late. So I'm not somebody that gets like a full 8 hours of sleep, I think, ever. But I just drink a lot of coffee and just navigate through it. So probably not the best for me, but you just got to make it work. You just have to have time blocking,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I always mess up her name. Miss Rhymes. She is the creator of Grey's Anatomy, and
Oh
I
yeah,
always miss.
Shonda Rhimes,
I
right?
always want to say Rhonda. I know it's yeah. It's always between Shanda or Rhonda. So she said it best. I remember listening to her speak. It was on a TikTok, but I remember listening. She was speaking at a graduation ceremony, and she was asked the question, "How do you do it all?" She's like, and my answer used to be that I hire a bunch of help, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, me too. And then she said, she's like, but the true honest answer is if I'm succeeding in one area, I'm failing in another. And it's recognizing that. Like if I'm killing it, in this series, more than likely I'm missing maybe a presentation or a school performance or whatever, or I'm late to it. And it was just like, oh my gosh, me too. Like, yeah, me too. You know, and I think that I love what you said earlier is as an entrepreneur, like making sure we give ourselves a great amount of grace. Like we're not going to be achieving perfection. That it is not going to exist, even if we weren't, an entrepreneur. But one thing we will achieve is being intentional during those moments when we're in them. And is there a great amount of sacrifice? Absolutely. And I love that you were honest and said, listen, there's times I don't sleep. I don't get as much sleep as I'd like to, and those are the sacrifices that I've chosen to make to do what I absolutely love to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you asked about my husband earlier, and I would say one of the funny things with him and I is he is very much that person. Like he hits the bat and he's out. And
Yeah.
so for me, one thing that is hard for me as an entrepreneur is there are nights where he like lays down to go to bed and I can't. And I look at him and I'm kind of upset about it, but I'm like, you know what? This is the path that I chose to take. So I just
Yeah.
have to suck it up and stay up and get the work done that I feel like I need to get done. Um,
Yeah.
and I think too, one of the big things that we have to take on as entrepreneurs as well is like prioritizing what you have to do. Like what are the non-negotiable tasks that are going
Yep.
to lead to the most success in your business day over day? Get those
Yep.
done. And then if there are some that aren't done, at least you did like your top 5 for the day.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. I 1,000%. And I can totally relate. There were times where I was creating a course or updating whatever training. My husband's crashed out snoring. And it's like, must be nice. Must be nice. Wanting to shake them. Sometimes I would shake them, but we'll talk about that next time. So as we wrap up, I'd love to know what's on the horizon for Little Red Things and what are some goals you're excited to bring to life over the next year?
Yeah. So on the horizon for us, I'm really excited. We're actually taking the drop onto getting into Amazon. So that is something I wasn't sure I ever wanted to do, but we have select products now that would be really smart on the baby registry on Amazon. So I'm really
Yes.
excited to start offering that. So if you're an expecting mom, definitely look us up to see what you can add to cart or add to your registry on there. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we are transitioning all of our production to the States. So I'm really excited to start, making more jobs here, making our items
Mhm.
here. I think that's really unique. There's not a lot of
Yep.
that's happening in this space. So I'm very excited about that too.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so, so excited for you too. That
Thank you.
girl, it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up. So, for listeners who want to stay connected or get involved with Little Rad Things, where can they find you online?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is just littleradthings.com. Our Instagram is at the Little Rad Things. And then my Instagram is Maddy Fero. If you message Little Rad Things, 99.9% of the time, it is me responding. That is one of my favorite things to do in my business. I don't know if I'll ever give that up.
Wow.
So yeah, you can reach out to me there. And I'm always happy to talk to anyone about business. I think that's one thing that I like to think brings me good karma all the time is I really love sharing knowledge and like trying to help people in the space.
Yep.
It's been a tightrope sometimes. You have people that want to use that to their advantage, but I do
Mhm.
believe what you put out into the world, you get back. So if you have any questions,
Absolutely.
hit me up.
Maddie, thank you so very much. When do you think, so for Amazon, when do you think that will be, that will, can you even announce it?
Yeah, in the next 4 weeks. 4 weeks out.
Holy, it's happening. It's
Yeah,
just in time for
we are
Christmas.
literally sending our first products in today. So it's exciting. We're starting small. It will be very specific to baby, like newborns,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
beginning, but we're excited to scale over there and give our customers another opportunity to shop with us. I know people love Amazon because it is fast and it's reliable and it's
Yeah.
trustworthy. So that was something that we were excited about doing is just giving our customers and net new people an opportunity to find us.
Absolutely. Maddie, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for all that you do for our country and how you're supporting it and just the love and the passion that you have. Truly inspiring.
Thank you so much, Veronica. I really am grateful that you spent the time with me and congratulations on all of your success as well.
Yours as well. You got to celebrate and you're going to send us a picture so I can post it on Instagram. You're going to tag me and I'm totally going to share it.
Okay, we will do that.
Deal. Raise your hand if you are ready to level up your marriage for 2023. Do you find that you're spending your time together with your husband checked out and in front of the TV? I know you're ready for tangible strategies that actually get you results. Reignite the spark in your marriage, have fun, and grow together. Well, I hope you have your hand raised at this minute because I have something special for you. I'm introducing my brand new 6-question marriage predictor quiz that's gonna give you personalized results to catapult you into the next stage of your marriage journey. That means you'll receive the results to where your marriage can get the best help. If you've got just 1 minute, head to veronicacisneros.org/quiz. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, and you could take my brand new quiz, Marriage Predictor. Get your results delivered right to your email address. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, veronicacisneros.org/quiz. What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now, write a review, rate the episode, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends.